Hello, I am Devin Brooks, and this is my final project. Um, so this is my presentation, and for my introduction, I worked with the Knoxville Museum of Art, and some of my duties were working the front desk, which is greeting people, Soundscapes, which is a music event, the Summer Art Academy, which is like an art camp for kids. I helped out with a lecture this week, and tomorrow I will be working with the Family Fun Day. So an overview is my experience. I've been working with various departments. I think I learned a lot about what happens in a museum. Um, and I'm also going to be highlighting what the museum is doing successfully. So some trends they're doing are outreach to kids, not just the museum, but all the art organizations and nonprofits in the area are trying to reach out to kids and have more full art day field trips instead of just a trip to one. Also, celebrating diversity is something they're really big on, with DEI being taken out of a lot of things. They have an emphasis to keep it in things and be an important part of that. Another thing is censorship in arts. That's something in the back of their mind, and they want to defend and back artists. Um, There's also a trend of more outreach to older kids and adolescents, as Knoxville is a college town. So um, reaching people over 12 they think is important too. One of the biggest challenges was diversity, especially with the Summer Art Academy. And here I show the amount of students who were white, of color, and international. And yeah, it seemed that there were more international students than um, locals who were minorities who attended. I also think a challenge is location. The museum tries to have a strong bond with the University of Tennessee and other events happening in the area and partner with people, but I think it can become a lot in that area, and things like game days will close down the museum as they will be closed for 8 weekends this school year for that exact reason, which could lose a lot of business for the museum as the weekends bring in a lot of people. I also think they kind of struggle with volunteers. I think there's more that can be done to engage them, because volunteers are important, because for people visiting, a volunteer who's greeting people or working the front desk is the first experience a visitor will have. So I think getting volunteers more engaged, participating, and involved is something that's a bit of a challenge. So here's what aligns and differs with my research, and I think what aligns with it is the importance of art education and a successful educational model, which I linked all across the globe. It seems there is an importance that art education is important to a child's education, um, and even having something like field trips or the art academy is a really good step forward. And one thing that's a challenge is um, getting volunteers to be engaged. They do have training often for volunteers, but um, keeping them engaged and participating is a bit of a struggle. And some of the things listed in that article are good insight, but I'm not sure if everything is effective. Um, Roles and challenges. Um, they make everyone start the first few times volunteering at the front desk to get used to the museum, understand the gist of things, and just understand how a museum works and what it's like working with the public. Um, and it took a while to get used to, but I'm confident in that role now. There's also soundscapes, which had a lot of moving parts as there were tickets. Some people had and didn't have. There were people who were members. There were reserved people who were either higher ups at the museum, or if the guest singer or band brought their own family. So it was hard to keep track of that as that was all on um, pen and paper. Also, I think there's a DEI problem with soundscapes. Majority of people who attend the Soundscapes music event were minorities. And this was the only event I saw where it was majority of brown and black um, people. So I think getting those groups to come out to more than just soundscapes is important for the museum, as every other event has been majority white, with the exception of internationals and tourists. The Summer Art Academy was also a struggle as the schedule was a bit hard because you needed to commit to a full week, which I found to be a challenge, and so did many volunteers I talked to as we had a meeting after it. And also supplies, especially in the final week, were running low. Um, but in the Summer Art Academy, my role was like a teacher assistant, so I worked with the kids, and that was something that was a bit of a challenge it was out of my comfort zone, but I think it was a really good experience to get, and I did enjoy it. So leadership, I think collaborative leadership is really important, and I learned early on, especially working the front desk, that there's so many people you can rely on if there were questions they needed to ask different departments or the docents or anyone else. And there were things I was not able to answer. I could go to them, and it very quickly became obvious to me that everyone is a team collaborating. Even if everyone's in different departments, everyone needs to work together. And with the Summer Art Academy, I worked with laissez-faire leadership as a teacher assistant, and this was something out of my comfort zone. Um, so to work with kids, I kind of let them do their own thing and express themselves in different ways. So I just took a step back and only would barge in if needed. Um, my reflection of the trends, I think the way that they collect data needs to be done more frequently. Working on the front desk data is collected, such as what region they're from and how did they hear about the museum. But I think more data and from other events would be a really good way, as well as getting feedback on what the museum is lacking to bring people in. Um, I think that's data they should work on more. Um, Also, I think accessibility, especially with the Summer Art Academy, there was a large lack of diversity, and I think if they targeted different groups or had different payment methods, I think it would have helped with the financial stress of the Summer Art Academy, as some kids may have not been able to attend every single week, but if one week was expensive, I think having different payment methods could have helped bring in more kids and diversity, as that's a really big goal for the museum to reach. And I don't think they did that during the Summer Art Academy. Um, my reflection on experience, I think I gained some leadership skills, and I definitely have more confidence working with the museum, and I have a better understanding of the different departments there are, as I've worked with education, volunteering. On Thursday, I talked to the curator and a little bit to the executive director. So I do have a better understanding of how things are run. And I think it was also a good experience as it got me out of my comfort zone, especially working with kids. That was something that I didn't think I could do, but it was a really good experience. And tomorrow I will be doing it again at the Family Fun Day. Um, thank you for watching.